You are now tuned in to BFTV, Buffalo Fanatics. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Rico, back at it again, ready to hit you guys with the receiver room. We've hit the quarterbacks, we've hit the running backs, we've hit the tight ends. Now we're about to hit the dynamic receiver room. They say these guys are the best athletes in the game. Well, we're about to find out who is part of the problem and who is part of the process. Starting with our big boy, Kelvin Benjamin. Here's the deal, the positives and negatives. He's a big target. That's it. He's a big target. You don't want to miss targets like that. He's a huge target. You hit him anytime you get a chance to. Number two, he's open when he's covered. When he's covered, he's open. What does that tell you? Throw him the damn ball. Like my man Keyshawn Johnson says, give me the damn ball. Throw Kelvin Benjamin the ball. A guy that big, that dynamic, that you cannot miss on the field, you've got to give him his opportunities. You've got to give him his targets. That's what you got to do. Now, there are some negatives. There are some negatives that come with Kelvin Benjamin. He came into camp a little overweight when he was in Carolina. We can't have that in Buffalo, baby, because those Buffalo wings will get you feeling kind of heavy. So you got to make sure that you take care of that weight and make sure you come to camp ready to go. Here's another thing. Some people will say that he's injury prone. He's got the slight case of, being on the sideline too long. But here's the deal. ACL tears happen. They do happen. He had a bum shoulder when he was in Carolina. Then he had a busted up knee in Buffalo. Things do happen. He's got a full offseason to get right, get healthy, get underweight, and be ready to roll with whoever the quarterback is, especially because we have our new offensive coordinator. Is he part of the problem or is he part of the process? You already know my man is part of the process. Kelvin Benjamin, we'll see you this offseason. Malachi Dupre. If you guys have no idea who Malachi Dupre is, he is the star receiver from LSU. He's a big, tall, strong kid, can play the slot, can play the wide receiver position. The boy can do it all. He's underrated in terms of how good his hands are. He can catch anything. He will catch anything. And the boy can catch in traffic. He will go up and get that ball. The only thing is, there's some negativity that comes with that, is that he's thin framed. He's a lanky guy. So if you're gonna come to the league, you gotta be able to, put some weight on, because you're gonna get tested. You're gonna get pushed around. So my man has to hit the gym, put a little bit of weight on, and we should be all right. Zay Jones. Who? Zay Jones. Very good character. Good character kid. Very positive. He doesn't let things get him down. That's a really big positive, because one can say that he had a challenging year. And with a challenging year, people just give up and they just go down. He never gave up. Every single week, he was up and running and being able to do really well. His standout game, the game that really stood out for him, was the Jets game. That was more of his coming out party. In that game, we already saw he got into the end zone, but there comes some negative with Zay Jones. Zay Jones dropped a couple balls this year, and by couple, I mean more than you want him to drop. That's something that we definitely have to have him work on, because we cannot have one of our receivers that we brought in the second round dropping balls all over the turf. So work on them hands. Bring it a little closer. Get yourself a jug machine. When you're at home, sit in front of the living room, watch your Netflix, watch your whatever, and just have that jug machine going, firing off footballs, and just have your hands right in front of that jug and catch the footballs. Because we're going to need your hands, because the quarterback that's going to come in is going to be much better than the one that we had, and he's going to be able to have to deliver to you. Brandon Reilly. You don't know much about Brandon Reilly. Brandon Reilly kind of came on in the offseason, did really well. He was pulling on the heartstrings of Bills fans. But here's the deal. He's got great hands, and one thing that I really love about him is he's a go up and get it type guy. He did it back in Nebraska. He did it showing us in preseason. He will go up and get the ball wherever he can, however he can. The only thing is, that comes with that is that he's not a burner. He's not a speedster guy. One thing that we did lack on our football team is guys that can stretch the field. Brandon Reilly will not stretch the field, but he will get open. Kind of like my man Hogan in New England. We could call him the new 7-Eleven, because he gets open and he goes up for that ball. So look for Brandon Reilly to make a little something, make a little noise this offseason. Deonte Thompson. our speedster. That was our speed guy this year. And that was something that we really appreciated because he gave us a spark. If not for Deonte Thompson, we potentially don't even make the playoffs. That was a big catch against the Colts in the snow. The weather was terrible, but he made things happen. And he was a spark. I mean, the stats speak for itself this year. In the short amount of time that he was with the Bills, he was able to muster up 27 receptions, 427 yards, only got in the end zone once, but he averaged 16 yards a catch. That tells me he's my deep threat, and if I'm gonna do something about that, I try to bring him back on the Bills. Is he part of the process or is he part of the problem? Y'all let me know. Now, the one thing that you got to look for is Deonte Thompson made a name for himself. He did make a name for himself. So look for him to now test the free agent market, see if anybody's going to bite. I mean, but if he's really about it and he really wants to be part of the chemistry on the Bills and build towards what we got, he'd come back. But you got to take care of business first, and this is a business league. So he's gonna test the market, see what he's got, and we'll find out if he's gonna be part of our process or the problem. Andre Holmes. Can somebody put on an APB alert for Andre Holmes? Because I feel like I said that all year long. We could not find Andre Holmes. He was pulling the Houdini act. Now, it's not all negative, right? When we needed him, when he made some clutch plays for us, he got in the end zone 3 times this year. But the only thing is, we need to have more of you. I mean, we paid you, what, $6 million over 3 years. We can't just have you as a special teams guy. We need you on the offense. We need your big body frame. He's fast, he's strong, and he's got height. He's 6'5". You got to make yourself available. You can't shrink, you know what I mean, when we really need you. So hopefully something happens in year 2. Does he come back? Is he a problem? We're about to find out right at the end of this segment. Jeremy Butler. For those that kind of forgot the name, Jeremy Butler started off with us in the offseason, but he got hurt. But a lot of times, a lot of people will think that he only got brought on because of the chemistry that he had once with Tyrod Taylor when they're back in Baltimore. But that never really panned out due to his injury. So could he end up coming back? Who knows? He's got a big frame. He's got great hands. And that hopefully that ability to come back from injury with a chip on your shoulder will allow him to make some noise. But the receiver room gets tight, man. We only try to keep 6 receivers. So will we have enough room for Jeremy Butler? We're going to find out. Raekwon, however you want to call his name. 5'7" speedster. Great on special teams. That is what his forte is. Returning punts, returning kicks. The only negative, the negative that I find is that is small frame. If you're going to be a small frame on this team, you better be tough as nails, right? And I just don't feel that there's going to be room enough for him on our roster. But you never know what the team wants to do. The fact that he's a return guy, I would prefer to go with a running back in Marcus Murphy. That's just me. Is Raekwon part of the process or the problem? Jordan Matthews. A lot of people want to see Jordan Matthews back, right? But the only thing is, he's coming off of a left knee injury, a right ankle, a broken bone in his chest. I mean, he had his share of adversity this year, and he overcame them. But we had to put him on the injury reserve list. Now, here's the deal. We have a receiver in Jordan Matthews that is a slot receiver but can also play the wide, but he's most comfortable in the slot. We already have a slot receiver in Zay Jones. We brought him in the 2nd round. So what do we do with a player like that? Do we try to retain him, let him get familiar with the wide side, keep Zay Jones in the middle? Are we going to draft a receiver? To me, I prefer to draft a receiver. So when it comes to Zay Jones and Matthews, if you're going to keep one, you got to keep the guy you just drafted. Now, could we work something financial with Jordan Matthews? Who knows? But what he does bring to the table is size. He brings strength. He brings hands, and he brings intensity. That's one thing I love. The one thing that the Bills organization loves. If we can bring something like that back to Buffalo, that would be great. But you know he's gonna test free agency. You know he's dealing with some injuries. So those are the things that we kind of gotta put on the table and keep that in mind. Rod Streeter. Rod Streeter came on hot. He came on hot in the offseason, but it's unfortunate that my man got hurt. He busted his knee up, and we had to put him on the injury reserve, and we ended up releasing him on a injury settlement. Now, we signed him to a future contract, so he has the ability this year to really step up and make his name up again. Now, he's had success in the season. He's played for the Raiders. He's played for the San Francisco 49ers. He had his biggest year with the Raiders. 800 yards receiving, 60 receptions. So you know he can play in this league. Now, is the injury going to slow him down? Do we see enough value for him? At age 30, those are the things that play a factor. Does he come back? Does he stay? Is he part of the problem? Is he part of the process? We're gonna find out. And last but not least, my man Brandon Tate. Brandon Tate is a tricky one for me because primarily used as a return man, but we had him receiving the ball, and when he was on the field, he did his job. He did do his job, but the depth is what's killing, right? He's not a flashy name, and for what we kept him on, and for the purposes that we kept him, I, in my opinion, don't feel that he did enough. At kick return, only averaging 19.7 yards a return. My man, you might as well take a knee in the end zone, right? We're looking for 25 to 35 yards a return, but you only giving us 19, brings us right back to the 20-yard line. We might as well use somebody else that's going to give us a spark, whether it be through draft, whether it be through free agency. But Brandon Tate, we're going to find out. Are you part of the process or are you part of the problem? Now, here's the deal. That's a big room. Here's the deal. We only have enough room to keep 5 to 6 receivers, depending on how many linemen we keep, how many tight ends we keep, how many running backs we keep. Typically, we go between 5 and 6. Let's call it 6. So let me just start off like this. Kelvin Benjamin, you're part of the process. It just can't. We just brought you in. We gave up a 3rd round draft pick for you. You ain't going nowhere. You're going to establish yourself this year. We're going to find out what you're about. You're going to get healthy. We're going to find out exactly what Kelvin Benjamin is made of with a quarterback that's going to actually throw him the ball, whoever it may be. And I'm hoping it's someone good. Lamar Jackson or Baker Mayfield. Who knows, right? Who knows? Now, is he part of the process? Is he part of the problem? Part of the process. Kelvin Benjamin. Next, Zay Jones. Process. He's process. He's part of the process. We dropped him in the 2nd round. Now he's got to step up and get his hands up. You got to get your hands up and get your hands strong, because them Butterfingers is not working for us right now. So you got to get your act together. We need you in the slot. We need to give that quarterback of ours every single weapon we can. Zay Jones. Process. Deonte Thompson. You know what? I like Deonte Thompson. I like him a lot. And I feel I like him enough to make him part of our process. Bring him back to the squad. I think he earned himself a roster spot. I think he earned himself a little mini contract. You know what I mean? Maybe a 2-3 year contract. And he's gonna produce. He's still of age, 28 years old. He's still explosive enough. Man, the man ran a 4.3 in college. So he's still got some wheels on him. So Deonte Thompson, you're part of the process. I don't know exactly why Reilly cut you the first time. Crazy, but it is what it is. Raekwon, you're part of the problem. I'm sorry, my man. You 5'7", 178 pounds. It's just not gonna cut it, man. This is a big boy league, and if you're gonna be that small, you better bring explosion. But you just not got enough. You don't have enough. I'm sorry. You are part of the problem. Brandon Tate, part of the problem. It's a wrap, boy. It's a wrap. We're about to give you up. We're about to send you wherever you need to go. We need to bring in some fresh young legs, some guys that are gonna return the ball to the house instead of just 19 yards. It's just not gonna happen. Brandon Tate, problem. Jordan Matthews, man. I like Jordan Matthews. I really do. And I struggle with what we should do with Jordan Matthews. Part of me says bring him back, because we don't know what's coming in that draft, where we're going to sit, but he's going to cost a pretty penny. I mean, we got rid of Sammy Watkins for this very reason. So to me, if I'm going to make a decision, I say Jordan Matthews, take a walk. You're part of the problem. I like you, but you're part of the problem. I just don't see you part of the Bills organization going forward. Malachi Dupre. Malachi is an interesting one. He's an interesting one. Part of me says he's going to compete. He's going to compete. He's going to try to make things happen, but I just can't see him making the squad. I say that he is not going to be part of our process. He's going to make a valiant effort, but he won't be. So part of the problem, Malachi Dupre. Brandon Reilly. I like Brandon Reilly. I think he's going to be one of those guys that makes it by the skin of his teeth, depending on what we do. I feel like he just needs to work on his ability to get open with his agility, meaning get quicker. That way we can use it downfield. But I like your big play potential, going up and getting the ball. That makes big things happen. And I think that you may become part of our process. So I say Brandon Reilly, you were close last year, and I think you make it this year. Part of the process. Andre Holmes. Now here's the tricky one. I don't think Andre Holmes makes the squad this year. I think he's going to be part of our problem. I don't think he made enough of a dent offensively for us to justify keeping him. Special teams is great, but we can get a later round guy that's going to cost cheaper to be our special teams guy. So I say Andre Holmes, part of the problem, man. You're part of the problem. Jeremy Butler. Let's just keep it simple, man. Part of the problem. you're just going to be finding yourself another opportunity. The reason you got brought in was because of Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor most likely will be gone. I'm not saying he is, but most likely will be gone. So that will be that, and we'll call it a day. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is that. That is the receiver room. Y'all let me know how you feel about who is going to stay and who's going to go. We only have room for 6. Don't forget, we might be drafting a receiver as well. So there might be some more room for improvement, more room to snip, 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 and cut away. We don't know. But what I do know is that this receiver room is going to be better than last year's room, and we're going to have a better quarterback to deliver the football. If you like what you guys see, click subscribe. Hit that notification button for when your boy is going to be putting out some more videos. I apologize, I took a little too long to get this one out, but I'm going to try to hit that stuff because draft prospects, I got to get on that so I can talk about it and let y'all know what's really good. It's your boy Rico, and I'm gone.